Physics exists everywhere. Isaac Newton might have given gravity its name, but it was there long before it was even acknowledged. When things fall, they fall to the ground as long as there's a pull from within the Earth. But what happens if something defies the laws of physics? In this video, we'll take a look at how this strange planet managed to make scientists question everything they've ever known. Curious? Let's dive in. First up, what is this new planet that has become the resident galactic rule breaker? There's always someone in the group who's a troublemaker, and it seems like the exoplanets are no exception. Up till now, astronomers have discovered and thoroughly studied around 4,000 of these extrasolar planets, so they've got a pretty good idea of how most of these planets form and behave. But sometimes, they'll come across a weird phenomenon that neither makes sense on paper nor in their heads. One such planet is planet J1407b, which was discovered in 2012 by the University of Rochester in New York. It's a part of the constellation of Centaurus and is a bizarre 435 light-years away from Earth with an orbit period of 3.5 to 13.8 years. In comparison, the Sun seems like a block away from us at those distances. J1407b is famous for its massive size and its spectacular network of rings, despite being a fairly young planet. In fact, astronomers call it Super Saturn because it seems like it's the Super Scion version of our fellow solar planet. As far as its mass is concerned, then the planet weighs about 13 to 26 Jupiters with a surface temperature of 5,757 Kelvin. So not only is this guy huge, but it's almost as hot as the Sun. Next, how did we even come across this planet? If you think the ocean is frightening, then you probably haven't aimlessly scrolled through NASA's website at night. Extraterrestrial life has always been a debate long before man even stepped on the moon. So of course, there's a reasonable amount of curiosity among humans to wonder if there's life anywhere else other than Earth. After all, we can't be the only ones existing since the Big Bang, can we? With this in mind, there have been many missions and space launches that have helped us map out the cosmos. No one can truly lay down the blueprints of infinity, but we can always try, right? And so the Super WASP survey was initiated. The project's main focus was to detect how gas giants, a form of exoplanets, move in front of their parent star. And while the purpose of this project was to keep track of various eclipses, it was a genuine stroke of luck for it to come across the wonder that is J1407b. Astronomers truly hit the cosmic potluck with this chance discovery. So how did this planet defy logic? Well, the size of this planet was expected considering the possibility of humongous other celestial bodies beyond our skies, but what shocked scientists was the intricate ring pattern of this planet that was one of the biggest they'd ever seen. It was also a surprise because previously there wasn't any exoplanet to have a ring system, so it was understood that brown dwarfs, like J1407b, do not have anything that surrounds them and that they exist on their own. Planet J1407b has approximately 30 rings around itself, and each of these rings is tens of millions of kilometers in distance. If we put in a rough estimate, then the total distance from the planet to the edge of the rings is around 120 million kilometers, or 74.5 million miles. And to put things into perspective, the largest water body on Earth, the Pacific Ocean, stretches for about 15,500 kilometers in length, or 9,600 miles. So the most haunting natural structure we know on our planet is not even a fraction of the distance of these rings. Compared to Saturn, these rings are about 640 times the size of its own rings. And if Saturn had the same proportions, then every night we would have a breathtaking view of these rings across our night sky. Now, what are these rings made of? Given the temperatures of this planet, it's very unlikely that these rings are made up of ice that orbits Saturn. Saturn's rings are made up of icy and rocky fragments that are believed to be remnants of various moons and asteroids, and even comets. In fact, did you know that Saturn's rings contain materials that are younger than the planet itself? And by young, we obviously mean a couple of million years, of course. Space talk, right? So it's quite possible that J1407b's rings are just an accumulation of dust and space debris that has come together and generated some sort of a gravitational pull, allowing a ring system to form. It doesn't make sense for them to contain ice, seeing how hot the planet is, so maybe it's just dust. Who knows? But aside from the rings, J1407b also has an unusual light display. According to astronomers, these exoplanets that exist beyond the parameters of our solar system can be observed by the changes in the brightness of their central stars. However, the light that comes from them is not always visible, and that brief period of darkness only happens when the planet is passing between the Earth and the planet's host star, giving an estimate of its orbit. But with J1407b, the active light display lasted for about 2 months, something that astronomers had never seen before. In the 3 years that the planet was being studied and observed, its activity and light emissions were carefully plotted in curves. And right in the middle of this study, the light curve essentially went haywire, and that's when astronomers saw the halos. How very Beyonce of them. The planet's odd activity turned out to be an accidental discovery of its ring system, and J1407b now champions the list of the weirdest exoplanets to exist. And this is the first planet to go against the laws of physics? Certainly not. As time goes by and technology gets better, astronomers get a clearer idea of how and why certain things in the universe happen. So everything they know is just conclusions drawn from observations they've made because there's no proper manual of instructions about the cosmos. So yeah, there have been other planets and stars that have displayed unusual behavior. For example, we've got planets as dense as cotton candy and those that rain molten lava. We've also got a planet with a Schrodinger's type of fluid that has the properties of gas and liquid, but is neither of them at the same time. And not to mention planet Hell, which is said to be so close to its parent star that if there's a chance Hell exists, then it's probably Kepler 70b. If J1407b's rings were tipping the scales of logic, then you'd be shocked to know how some of these exoplanets have properties that baffle all science of reasoning, and it's a mystery how that is possible. Now, let's take a look at another underdog of a planet that is incredibly unique in its ways. The Sun is the biggest and the only star in our solar system. Not the twinkle twinkle kind, but the kind that holds all of the planets, asteroids, comets, and even tiny bits of space debris together. And as a rule of thumb, planets orbit around their star, and so far most planets do so around a single star only. But there is one such planet way beyond our solar system that has not one, not two, but three stars it revolves around. When this planet was first discovered, it wasn't really paid much attention by astronomers since it seemed too complicated and also felt like it wasn't even real. But decades later, KOI 5 was finally given its due recognition after it was found out that this particular system is gravitationally bound to three stars, a first for the exoplanets. Scientists theorized that star A and star B of this system revolve around each other every 30 years, whereas star C takes its sweet time and orbits the former two every 400 years. And if such a phenomenon can exist, then this just opened new avenues for the way we approach the study of the stars. Alas, the space is so full of wonder. Our universe is infinite magic. Every time we think we've accomplished a milestone and figured out a way to explain unexplainable things, we're back to square one because there's just so much to uncover out there. With James Webb, we've finally gone back light years to see what is the beginning of time, and it is so surreal how little we are compared to these huge floating bodies in space. It's possible that in our search for other signs of life in space, we might actually find a habitable planet that would be similar to Earth. After all, we've already found our cousin, Kepler 452b, and maybe if the odds are in our favor, the telescopes will guide us to sibling planets too. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about this newfound planet? Do you think it's possible to find habitable planets, or is Earth the only planet capable of having life? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos like this. Until then, see you in the next one.